Morning, everyone. Today, in order to examine some poetry later on in class, we're first going to establish imagery and our understanding of imagery in order to better understand the poem later in class. So, with that being said, you should be on the purple section under direct instruction imagery. We're going to start by just talking about what imagery is. So, imagery is the use of the five senses, and please go ahead and type this in as I am typing it, is sight, which is like seeing, smell, sound, taste, and touch. So these are our five senses, and they are used to deepen the description of a literary work. So that being said, right, all of these appear throughout literature. They might not always be in all pieces of work, and we're going to look at that below. Specifically, when we look at this poem, "Cat Pillow," and this was written by Miss Bode. Cat Pillow. The motor of my cat hums softly, a pillow of fur, like a giant cotton ball come to life, lifting and falling with each breath. She must be dreaming of a river of chocolate and the beetles, everything that fills this room. The sweet mocha sits half full on the table, waiting to be finished. It shivers from the cold, seeping through the windows. I hold my cat pillow tighter to keep me warm. And so now we're going to look at just a couple of examples. Again, there may be more, and there may be different ones within the poem that we read later in class today. So, if I look at this concept of sight, right? Sight, an example of this might be the description of the cat, right? Like a giant cotton ball come to life, right? That would be an example of sight, because it is describing what that cat looks like. And ultimately, right, this can relate to the theme of the story, right, based on what the description of the cat is in terms of that sight. Second, another example could be sound of imagery. And when I think back to the poem, I think of that first line when we're actually talking about how or the author's talking about how the cat hums softly, right, like a motor, right? So this is an example of sound that you could use that represents imagery. And due to that, right, again, this has an impact on the outcome of the story, potentially the theme of the story, so make sure that you are conscious of that. Last but not least, right, is touch. An example of touch is this last line here. I hold my cat pillow tighter to keep me warm. So, this is an example of touch or feeling. And so, based on this poem up here, and there's more examples, but these are three examples of imagery that exists within this poem that ultimately can influence the theme and or the feeling that the reader has as they read or listen to the story.